up, everybody? It's your girl Micca, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Micca, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. And today is Wednesday. What's going on, everybody in the chat? What's going on, everybody watching on YouTube, watching on the playback, watching the next day, the day after, all that good stuff? What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up, Mandy? What's up, Loud and Clear? What's up, Luby Fishing? What's up, Sydney? How are you? Thank you. What's up, Magnetar? What's up, Jermaine? Who else we got in the building? What's up, Sugar Shane? What's up, Brock? Okay, Brock. What's up, your car? Okay. We got some new faces. How you been, Mandy? How was you guys' week? I know it's the middle of the week, but how's it been? What's going on, Curtis? Everybody good? Cool. So let me tell you, I have been nonstop having to talk about Chicago. Every time I try to go and move on to something else happens in Chicago. So I've been talking about Chicago now since I interviewed Chicago Red last week. Chicago Flips Red last week. Just Chicago nonstop. Chicago nonstop. And if you guys haven't seen that interview, go and watch it because a lot of the stuff that's happening right now, they said last week before all of this stuff happened. All right. They literally said, not the Sunday that just passed, but the Sunday before that. Okay. I interviewed them and they literally said South Shore. They literally said everything that's happening right now would happen. Honest to truth. What's going on, Clay? What's going on, Eric Wealth? What's going on, Trevor? Yeah, everything they said. So I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised. So if you guys are not following Chicago Flips Red, you guys should follow them. Also, Miss Patricia Stewart, you should follow her. And there's another Republican Congresswoman. I gotta get her name. But there's a lot of them that you guys should be following because they are on the ground doing the work and they're actually telling the truth. Unlike the media, unlike, Mayor Mohawk, and unlike PB&J Pritzker. Okay. PB&J don't ever know what he's talking about. You left work early. Oh, y'all are wild in the chat. All right, you guys. So we're going to talk about a lot today, but we're going to talk about, of course, Chicago. However, we're going to talk about a lot of other things. We're going to get on A.O.C. We're going to get on this this judge, okay, whose house blew up. We're going to get on that. We're going to get on, let's see what else we got on the ticket. We're going to get on Stephen A. talking about Chicago. We're going to get on, did I say A.O.C? Yeah, I did say A.O.C. And we're going to get on this governor out in California that rage quit. So we're going to get on that as well. When I tell you, it's just a lot of nonsense going on with the Democrats. It's a lot of nonsense, a whole lot, like a whole lot, to the point where I have to decide what I want to talk about and what I'm not going to talk about because it's just so much. Okay. And if you guys have not seen Hakeem Jeffries, just about 30 minutes ago, he got approached in the hallway in the Capitol. It's just hilarious. Like the Democrats and Republicans, okay, the people on Capitol Hill, they're absolutely hilarious. All right, because they could just sign off on stuff, but they don't, and they do all this performative stuff. When I tell you, just go watch it. Just go watch it. I don't have enough time to put it on the docket, but I'm telling you, it's funny. So go watch it. I see you. What's up, Loso Way? What's up, Matt Vibes? Triple Skrilla, what's up? All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get the show started. I want to thank Mike That Dude on Cash App because Mike That Dude sent me a Cash App before the show started. So thank you so much for always supporting the platforms. And he even got the days right. Okay, he got on board with the new days. So thank you, Mike That Dude. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get on with it. All right. So you know the drill. We're gonna start with shots, a couple of little small stories that we're not gonna pour it up all the way about, but I still want to touch on. Okay. Now, the first one I want to touch on is AOC. All right. Ever since this shut down, AOC thinks she is the queen. Okay. Telling people to come see her, telling people to come talk to her. Okay. Because she's big dog, her and Mondami up there in New York. All right. And Ratchet Crockett, because Ratchet Crockett still thinks she's relevant. However, AOC was out here body shaming. Now, you know, the left, especially the far left, they have a problem with body shaming. They have a problem with you talking about anything pretty much that can, quote unquote, offend somebody. So it was funny when I seen that she was body shaming. And who did she body shame? Apparently, Mr. Stephen Miller. Okay, so I want to get into this because she was on her live stream, her own personal live stream that is just absolutely nuts. Okay, if you want to see someone that is touched, you ought to watch her lives. But this is the part of her live where she starts to talk about Stephen Miller, and I want you to see why the left is going at their own. Okay, the left always eats its own. Here is AOC. Here we go.
Else. Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10. And he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10. And he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10 that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them. Yes, they are dangerous. Else. Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10. And he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10.
Now, if y'all know Stephen Miller, okay, who is the chief of staff, right? If y'all know Stephen Miller is at least 5'10, 5'11. So I don't know where she got 4'10 from because I'm 4'10. Okay, I'm literally 4'10. I know Stephen Miller's taller than me. But that's what she said. Now, to us, we don't care, right? But the left did not like that she said all of that. So I'm going to play what Fox played and how she had to backtrack on the same live stream. All right, here we go.
When Democrats get desperate, they start hoaxing. We got carpet bombed with hoaxes leading up to the election, and now they're circling back. Senate Minority Leader AOC just debuted the Mini Miller hoax.
Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10. And he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10.
Primetime measured Miller, he's 5'10", with no shoes on. He told us, quote, "It sounds like AOC needs a new therapist." AOC really shouldn't throw stones. Her fiance's no Prince Charming. Look at him. Legs crossed, Birkenstocks, straws. 3 strikes, you're out. But when we talk about her, AOC says we're just jealous and want to date her. We don't. And maybe her fiance doesn't either because they've been engaged for over 3 years. Meanwhile, Miller's a stud with a wife and 3 kids. And now AOC fans want her to apologize for body shaming him.
Also, someone said, short kings are great. Absolutely. I'm not here. I want to absolutely make sure that I talk about that. I'm not here to make fun of anyone's anything, but the way people overcompensate over their own stories is what I'm talking about there. So thank you for the clarification.
That just made it worse, okay? Like, that just absolutely made it worse. She's making it now sound like he has a Napoleon complex, okay? He's trying to overcompensate for something, but he's not short. So what is the problem? AOC is absolutely ridiculous, and she's nuts, okay? And I didn't know she was engaged. So there's that, because anybody that could put up with that child. However, that wasn't enough, okay? Her fan base, her whatever it is, her constituents, whatever, they are to her decided that they would keep on giving her the backlash for body shaming. Okay. I have to give it to them. They're holding her accountable. All right. So here is AOC having to talk about it again because they are not letting this go. And they ought to body shame her because those mom jeans do not make Jenny from the block look any better. But here we go.
I want to express my love for the short king community. I don't believe in body shaming. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside.
Girl.
Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is. No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3".
You're a lie.
Like 5'3", 5'4".
Lie.
Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across. They are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you stand with women, if you're not belittling immigrants, you're like, 6'3" spiritually. I don't know. Am I being problematic? I want to express.
She basically said that short kings might have a spiritual animal, and the spiritual animal is they are spiritually 5'10". Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Just say that you were wrong. Apologize for trying to body shame somebody. I really don't care, about this whole body shaming thing. It is what it is. I'm sure Stephen Miller can handle his own because I've seen him do it. Okay. However, whether he's tall or short, that's what you said. So stand on it. And she couldn't. She couldn't at all. And the left was eating her alive. That's why she had to come back and doubly, if that's a word, explain. Okay. She had to do it all over again because they wanted to know what you meant by the short stuff. Okay. Because a lot of men on the left felt the way. Okay. Harry Sisson felt the way. Okay. He felt the way. So she had to come back and say all of this, which we did not need, but it's hilarious. But she had to come back and say all of this because she couldn't stand on it. Because it would make her look like what the Democrats usually are, hypocrites. Absolutely hypocrites. And then she's talking about, oh, well, Andrew Tate looks like he's girl, Andrew Tate don't look like 5'3" nothing. It's just absolute nonsense. Her and Ratchet Crockett, I don't even know when they actually work. Like, please at least open up the government to put these people back somewhere else so they can get off the internet, so they can at least look like they're working. Because they do absolutely nothing and get paid for it. Because while everybody else is furloughed, Ratchet Crockett and this one here are getting paid. So you guys get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about, AOC here, Miss Jenny from the block, having to go ahead and backtrack. She had to backpedal, okay, on all that short stuff. And now she wants to talk about short kings. Short kings, she loves you. Your spirit animal is a 5'10" person. Okay. The Puerto Rican princess says so. You guys get down in the comments and let me know about it. What's going on? What's going on? I see y'all pulling up in the chat. What's going on, Molly? What's going on, Trace? What's going on? I see y'all pulling up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's going on? What's going on? All right, you guys. So if that wasn't enough, what's going on, Lando? I see y'all up in here. Wow, y'all deep. Okay. Matthew, I see you. I see you, brother OG Japan. I see you got flavor. Chris Cunningham. I see you. You everywhere. Let's see. Real quick. See you. I see you, Donna. Hey, Donna. Next phase. What's going on, love? All right, you guys. So let's get into this next one. The next one I want to get into is this lady right here. Absolute nut. We went from one nut to the next. This lady is an absolute nut. Okay. California, I don't know what they have been eating for the last 40 years, but everybody that come from there, nuts. If you're from California, I'm sorry. However, everybody y'all put up for politician, nuts. Like you can't make none of this stuff up. So who is this lady? This lady right here. Okay. Her name is Katie Porter. Yes, Katie Porter. And Katie Porter is a candidate for governor. Okay, she's going up against New Skims. Okay, New Skims, who thinks he's the sexiest and cutest thing alive. New Skims and Katie will be going up against each. Well, no, not New Skims. Actually, it's another person. And I think Kamala is thinking about getting back into it, but I hope not. Willie told her not to, but anywho, she's running for governor. And when I tell you, she doesn't like to be asked questions. She doesn't like to be asked any questions. Not one, not two, not three, not four. She doesn't like follow-up questions. And she wants the questions that are on the paper that she approved ahead of time. I want you guys to see how she went off because this was just wild. All right. And then you guys let me know what you think about it in the chat. Here we go.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
The white liberals is fighting. They are fighting, honey. You can't make this stuff up. She is upset that this woman, who's a journalist, reporter, whatever you want to call her, she is asking follow-up questions, and she's asking actually pretty good questions, okay? Like liberals usually don't ask good follow-up questions, but she is. And the questions that she's asking are actually valid. Okay, how are you going to win Trump voters? Why do I have to worry about winning them? Ma'am, because they're in your state. Like, huh? They're in your state. But see, this should show people exactly how Democrats think. They don't care about being the president for everybody. They don't care about being the governor for everybody. They don't care about being the congresswoman or man for everybody. They care about whoever put them in office. And this is how they govern. Like, this was funny. I'm not going to lie. It's extremely funny. However, this goes to show you exactly how they govern and why, if you vote for them, and I should say it like that. Yeah. If you vote for them, maybe you might get something. Maybe if you're one of those protected groups. But outside of that, they're not doing anything for you. No. Okay. In my family voice. No, they're not doing anything. They're not doing, absolutely not. So she didn't like being asked about Trump voters. It's wild. It's wild. And then she made the whole interview about her. Like, what about your constituents? What about the people that want to vote for you? I don't know why they would want to vote for you, but what about those people? She didn't care. She absolutely didn't care. Okay. She wanted to get out of there because she knew that this woman was going to continue to challenge her, was going to continue to ask her questions that would need answers. And she doesn't have the answers. And on top of that, Democrats aren't used to having to respond to any of this. So she said it. Yeah, I'm not used to having to do follow-up questions. Who's not used to doing follow-up questions if you're a person running for office? Absolutely ridiculous. The last 4 years have really spoiled the Democrats. They are used to getting their way. Not today. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about Miss Katie over here, okay? Because Miss Katie is she's not taking no ish from nobody, okay? And she rage quit right out that interview. When she said she wasn't doing it, she was not doing it. And she stood on it. So good for her. Okay. I hope she doesn't get it. And somebody in the chat said Larry Elder is running. I hope so. I hope so. I hope he wins. I hope not Chicago. I hope California goes red. I hope so. I really do. But you guys get down in the comments and let me know. All right. So our last shot here, Mr. Stephen A. Smith. Okay. I wanted to come on and talk about this because Stephen A. lately, I really don't know what to make of Stephen A. He plays both sides to me, right? Now you can be in the middle. You can find common ground. I agree with that, right? I don't agree with always fighting, but Stephen A., I really don't know where to land him. However, he's been saying a couple of good things. All right. So I want you guys to see what he had to say about PB&J Pritzker and Mayor Mohawk and everything they're doing in Chicago and Illinois and the National Guard. All right, here we go.
This ain't about Trump in Chicago. It's not about Republicans in office. It's not about Republicans having the House or the Senate. It's about no matter who the hell is in office or who's out of office, the same problems persist in the streets of Chicago. And you got black people clamoring for national interference and federal assistance. Legally, I support Governor Pritzker in what he's saying. Trump has no business going this far. I get that. I'm just saying respectfully to Governor Pritzker.
PB&J.
That might be applicable anywhere else but in Chicago.
That's a fact.
It's been a mess. And black people have been dying left and right. And I'm not going to sit idly by and say nothing. Something got to be done. And I'm not saying it's what Trump has to do. But if what Trump is trying to do brings attention to the point where it alarms a nation as to what is transpiring in the streets of Chicago, then so be it. Desperate times. Desperate measures.
Not desperate times.
I got love for all of us as a human race. But I'm a black man, and I ain't going to sit here and act like my love for black people, for my own, doesn't supersede almost anything else.
Illegals. That's what you're saying. Go ahead.
It's hard reading about, seeing, watching, hearing all of this stuff going on in Chicago for decades with little to nothing being done about it.
Nothing being done.
I'm not saying Trump is right.
He's right. He's always right.
I'm saying times in Chicago should be considered so desperate that even though he should be stopped from bringing the National Guards in, perhaps Governor Pritzker, you should say, you know what?
What?
I do need federal assistance.
Child.
I may not want the National Guard, but let's sit down and talk and figure out something. Because clearly what we're doing in Chicago ain't enough.
Okay.
You should at least be able to do that. You and Mayor Johnson.
Stephen A gets a for effort, I guess. I absolutely guess. Because honestly and truly, liberals like Stephen A, okay, or moderates, whatever they like to call themselves, they could have been saying this stuff a long time ago, okay? And Stephen A still voted for Kamala. So you would have voted for the same thing had she got in. You would have been voting for the same thing. You would have been voting for that $800 million that he's now begging for to go to, pay the debt of Chicago that he ran up, him and that lady, or I think it's a lady, Lori Lightfoot, okay? They're not using it for crime prevention programs. They're not using that money for that. They just shot up like 47 people this weekend in Chicago. Please. They're not using it for that. They took out ShotSpotter, okay? They have 1,500 shootings, 385 murders, 385. Please, send the troops. Call the guard. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Do all of that stuff because Chicago is a war zone. I don't care what anybody says, okay? And we're going to get into it later, but that Stephen A, all of you guys should have been talking about this stuff earlier. And we wouldn't even be here because you already knew the conditions that people in those areas were going through. Everybody knew what Chicago's like. I've never even been to Chicago and I knew, okay? So absolutely not. But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about good old Stephen A. Because Stephen A, yeah, he's definitely a fence straddler. I definitely think he is. I definitely 100%. 100%. So you guys get down there and let me know what you think about it. I agree with you, Molly. I agree 100%. What's going on, Magnificent Gaming? Clay Display. What's going on, Dion? What's going on, Donald? I see you guys in the chat, loud and clear. I see y'all. All right, so let's get into these main topics, right? Because I want to get into what has been boiling over the last couple of days. And that is this blue conspiracy, okay? Some people call it blue anon, like QAnon. But yeah, we're going to call it the blue conspiracy because there is a conspiracy going on that is Donald Trump he's everything. Okay. He's responsible for everything that ever happens. If you are on the left and something happens, your cat gets stolen. Okay. Your dog runs away. You can't ride your bike. It is Donald Trump's fault. Okay. It's Donald Trump's fault. All right. You get locked out of your apartment. Somebody steals your car. All right. Your baby don't have no milk. It is Donald Trump's fault if you're on the left. And this is no different. So if you guys don't know what's going on, there is a judge, okay, that in South Carolina that decided that she was going to stop Donald Trump from going ahead and pulling the voter rolls. Because we all know that there's nothing but illegals on those voter rolls. I don't care what anybody says. That's what's on there. That's what's on there. Okay. Last year, when I covered that, there were like illegals on the voter rolls in Oregon and Texas. Like Texas purged so many. Arizona, Maryland, where I'm at. They're just too many. All right. And then we already had that guy, from Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, we had him, right? He was allowed to vote because they have driver's license. And when you go to the MVAs or DMVs, whatever you guys call them, all right, when you go there, what happens? They ask you if you want to register to vote. How is it that people don't think that they have the right to vote? You're giving them the right to do something that they shouldn't have the right to do, which is drive. Like, they don't have the legal documentation to even get one, but they're getting them. Like, you can't make it up. So, you guys, I want to go ahead and get into this because I just find it amazing that a lot of people decided that, they were going to go ahead and go along with this conspiracy here. And one of them happens to be Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo, he's supposed to be another moderate. All right. He's supposed to be a moderate. He's supposed to be, I moved on from China News Network, so I'm not doing commie news no more. I'm doing the news bidding of the people. I'm on this new channel and I'm turning a new leaf. He is still a liberal child. He says some things right some of the time, but most of the time he's on his liberal nutcase stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely on it. So I want to go ahead and get into what some of the people were saying about this judge's home when it caught fire. And one of them was Chris Cuomo. Here we go.
Judge Goodstein in South Carolina, her house went up, almost completely destroyed from, quote, an apparent explosion, unquote. And this is the same judge that in September denied the Trump administration through the DOJ to have access to the state's voting information. That ruling was later overturned by the Supreme Court, but Goodstein, like many, was targeted as a Trump enemy, a liberal judge.
Really now?
Russian intelligence have an axiom that is very instructive of what's happening in American politics. This story is an example. No person, no problem. Meaning, get rid of the person who represents the problem, whose ideas or actions are the problem, you get rid of them. And then, is that what happened to Judge Goodstein? I don't know. She wasn't even home at the time. She was out walking her dogs, reportedly. And she is all right, although several other people were injured by the fire, whatever we figure out the cause to be, and they'll figure it out. Arson investigation, the inception of fires, very good investigating skills. And could an explosion have been something unintentional? Yeah. Systems blow up all the time. Burners, HVACs, all kinds of things happen. So the truth is enough. So let's see what that truth is. But that's why it matters. And the idea of feeling one way or the other about her house getting blown up for political reasons, now that's the real fear. And that's what's happening on social media right now. You won't see it on my show on News Nation. You won't see it on my podcast by choice, but you could. People are weaponizing this because division pays, because social media makes it pay.
Child, I don't believe one word. Absolutely not. So that was Chris Cuomo trying to act like he's in the middle. However, MSNBC did not. Okay. They went straight full throttle. When I tell you MSDNC 13 went and did what they were supposed to do, they understood the assignment for the left. That's exactly what they did when they started to talk about this whole situation. Here we go.
Of a massive fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina judge who has reportedly faced death threats after a high-profile ruling against the Trump administration. The fire happened Saturday afternoon, about an hour south of Charleston. Flames engulfed the home owned by Circuit Court Judge Diane Goodstein, who, according to several reports, was out for a walk at the time. But the local NBC affiliate is reporting that 3 people were injured and hospitalized, including the judge's husband, former Democratic State Senator Arnold Goodstein. And with little details known at this time, law enforcement has been asked to provide extra security after the incident. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein, after she temporarily blocked the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
Well, first and foremost is get, what the investigation will reveal about who did this and what their motivation was. I mean, when you just put together the facts you showed in your intro, I mean, I think the first thing many of us think is, was this intentionally done because of that ruling? But we don't know that yet, right? That would be speculation. Could there be other causes for this? Could there, I mean, the footage is devastating. I mean, it's just, rarely have I seen a house, just one house in such flames like that. And then the charred remains. It's just shocking how fast this happened and how many people were injured and could have been killed. And so it's a horrible, horrible, heinous crime if it was a crime and not something that was done by accident. And I know it's looking like arson, but getting to that cause. And if it turns out that this was motivated because of a judicial ruling that went against the Trump administration, this will be another escalation, of course, in what we're seeing when it comes to political violence. And I think it is bad always. It's bad no matter who it's directed to. But when it is a judge, I mean, the judges, their job is to rule in the cases in front of them based on the facts and the law, and to do that without fear or favor, to do that without any notice of or any consideration of politics. And so, this is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're in a very, very dangerous position in this country. And it makes judges fearful. It makes prosecutors fearful, as we know. It makes others in positions where they could be criticized by Donald Trump fearful. And he needs to know the power of his voice and how people respond to that. We've been saying this for years, Nicole, but if this is what this turns out to be, some sort of politically motivated act of domestic terrorism, then, the importance and significance of the things that Donald Trump says about a person just, again, will be demonstrated in this instance. But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Well, I want to.
Yeah, she will. This lady right here, she will. However, you hear all of that, right? You hear all of that. They kept, now to keep from getting, sued, they kept saying, well, we don't know yet. But if Donald Trump doesn't change this and doesn't do that, and as you can see in the opening, it is an arson. How do you know all this stuff? How do y'all know all of that already? How did you know that this is arson? How did you know? And then let's just say it was, right? How would you know that it was because of what Donald Trump had with this lady? Okay, with the judge going back and forth. How would you know if it was that? How do you know her husband don't have a side chick? Okay, and then she just came and blew up her house. How do you know this? How do you not know maybe her son had a hot pocket that he left in too long and the microwave blew up? How do you not know this? We automatically went to Donald Trump. Automatically. Queen B, it's true. Look, automatically we went to Donald Trump. Okay? Automatically. And that's because they couldn't wait to say, look, more political violence from the right, when we all know that the political violence is coming from the left, not the right. Okay? Nobody cares about what this lady did. Nobody cares. The Supreme Court overturned it. So why would we even care? And then on top of that, why would anybody just blow up her? This is just so stupid. It's absolutely stupid. But this is what they're doing. Okay? They keep doubling down. And do you think if they find out anything different, they will do a retraction, say that they're sorry, they apologize, all this stuff? No. They'll just hide behind, well, it was just, hypothetical. Got it. Okay. So let's move on. Now, that's what the house looks like. And that's awful right there. Like, that's a nice house. And watch it go up in flames like that. Might be inside job. However, to watch it go up in flames like that, you know, it's awful. However, let's go ahead and see what the update is from this gentleman here, who I can't stand because he's one of the people from the debates that help, you know, Gamla kind of win, I guess. Kind of. Here we go.
We've just learned what authorities are now indicating after that massive fire destroyed a judge's home. 3 people inside were hurt, and what authorities are now saying just moments ago. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, authorities have just revealed this inferno at the waterfront home of a South Carolina judge appears to be an accident.
You can hear the thing burning.
There were fears Judge Diane Goodstein was targeted because of her rulings from the bench. South Carolina's chief judge even asking for extra security. But investigators now say at this time there is no evidence to indicate the fire was intentionally set.
Run that back. There is what? At this time, there is no evidence to indicate the fire was intentionally set. So where did they get the whole Trump thing from? Because they just hate Trump. They hate Orange Man bad. They hate Trump.
Set. Video shows Goodstein's Edisto Island home fully engulfed.
We have a 3-story elevated structure fully engulfed.
Black plumes seen billowing along the shoreline.
Be advised that Edisto Beach has a structure fire with entrapments.
At the time, the judge was walking on the beach, but her husband and 2 others had to escape the fire by jumping into the marsh. Rescuers reaching them by kayak. Goodstein's husband, a former state senator, airlifted to the hospital. The investigation into the fire is ongoing, David, but tonight it looks more accident than arson. David?
It don't look accident to me. It looked like somebody was trying to get rid of somebody. She tired of him. She's not. it don't look like an accident to me, but you know, I am no fire marshal. All right. I don't know anything about fire and structures, so I will reserve my opinions. However, we do know that Donald Trump didn't do it, and we do know it was not arson. So again, how do we get here for the fact of we're going to say that it's Donald Trump, it's one of his supporters, it's, you know, it's them doing all of the, you know, stuff on the right. The right is just going absolutely nuts. How do we get here? Absolutely not. And that's because the left just wants to blame Donald Trump. They want to blame Donald Trump for every last thing. Every last thing. When he doesn't even have anything to do with it. Okay? This lady's out walking her dog. Okay? The son is in the house. The son is like 35. He still lives at home. Okay? The husband is like 81. That's why I'm saying look into that. Okay? But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. So why are we bringing that up? These are supposed to be the best journalists. These are supposed to be the best news channels, which we know they're not. But this is what's going on. Conspiracies. When it's supposed to be journalism. So you guys go down in the comments and let me know what you think about the blue conspiracy, BlueAnon, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Because when I tell you that this is a hoot, okay, that they're sitting here talking about this and they're still talking about it. They're absolutely, a couple of days later, still talking about that it could be Harry Sissy, okay, is still online saying that it could be somebody on the right, that it could be a Trump supporter, a Trumper, whatever they like to call us. That's what they're talking about. That's how I caught wind of the story. That's what they're talking about. It makes absolutely no sense. But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about this whole story. And let me know what you think on the conspiracy side, who may have did it. Okay? I think it's the white, but that's just me. But you guys let me know. All right. So before we get into Chicago, let me go ahead and read the super chat. And I think that's Jasmine, if I'm saying it right. If I'm saying it wrong, correct me, please. But Jasmine with the $4.99 super chat, thank you so much. Micca, where can I find like-minded women like you? Okay, first, you got to go to DC. And then and then you got to find somebody that's yeah, you're not going to find it in DC. You're not going to find it nowhere around here. You'd be better off just going down south, maybe to one of those red states, one of those good old red states that has good values. Yeah, good values. Red states. A lot of these blue states, they don't have it. You know, I was fortunate to be raised by my grandparents. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, and in these blue states, you're not gonna find it. I tried. I was about to lie. I was trying to give my hometown some love, but DC is so liberal. It's so liberal. But if you like the liberal chicks, they all here, okay? Septum rings, all that, tattoos, coffee shop workers, Starbucks preferably, but it might be, you know, a little hometown one. Yeah, that's pretty much what we got here. Blue hair, red hair sometimes, scream really loud. Yeah, that's pretty much what we got here. So if you're into that, that's what we got here in DC. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I really do. All right, Queen B. Thank you so much, love, with the $2 super chat. Much love and prayers, Micca. Thank you, hon. And how have you been? Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into Chicago. Because, yeah, this has been on my nerves all day. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, Chicago. Is martial law coming? That's what I want to talk about. Is martial law coming to Chicago? And I am afraid to say, no, I'm not. I think it is. Okay. I think martial law is coming to Chicago. And the reason why I think it's coming to Chicago is because you have PB&J Pritzker and, you know, Mayor Mohawk, who just don't want to do right by Chicago residents, citizens, anybody. Okay. They don't want to do right by any of those people. None. Okay. And the illegals, they even put them in harm's way. All right. When they could just, you know, they could just start with the criminal ones. They could start with them, get them out of the way. Because what people don't realize is a lot of the people that are here illegally, they get trafficked here too. Okay. So people think they're saving these people by, you know, helping get, you know, letting them free. No, they go into the you know, the so-called illegal immigrant communities. I don't know how they have communities when they're illegal, but they go in those communities and they terrorize them too. Okay. They follow them. You let the border open. It's not just people coming here that want to work. They let all kinds of people in here. And they follow the ones that, you know, maybe actually do want to come here and work, but you can't let one break the law. One breaks it, everybody breaks it. You got to come here correctly. And you got to do right by people that actually do want to come here and be, you know, good residents. Do right by them. Have them go to proper channels. But you got these sanctuary cities that will allow people just to flood over here, use the resources, and terrorize everybody else. So this is where we're at. And that's why we're going to have martial law over there in Chicago, okay, or whatever you want to call it, insurrection. I don't care. That's what's going to happen over there. So let's go ahead and get into it because, you know, Mayor Mohawk has something to say about, you know, the good old National Guard. Here we go.
You know, as far as what we are hearing, the National Guard, first of all, it's illegal, unconstitutional, it's dangerous, it's wrong. This is not about deportation. This is not about safety for this president. This is about authoritarianism. It's about stoking fear. It's about breaking the Constitution that would give him that much more control over our American cities. You know, as far as what we are hearing, the National Guard.
Why does he always sound like he's out of breath? He always sounds like he's out of breath. He always sounds like he just ate. Okay. And he always looks confused. He looks like he has an IQ of 7. Like, I can't take it. However, here is Mayor Mohawk talking about the National Guard. So the National Guard is there now and they're training. Okay. They're there, they're training, and they're going to go in. All right. They're going to go in. Now, here's the thing. People are like, well, why is the National Guard showing up? And the National Guard is showing up because a lot of people, a lot of ICE agents are being victimized. Okay. They're having things thrown at them. These people are showing up at these ICE facilities over there in Chicago or right outside of Chicago. They're showing up. They're just doing the most. So somebody has to protect them because Chicago PD isn't going to do it. All right. And there's no other agency that's going to protect these people. Now, here's the thing, and this is why everything is boiling over. Chicago PD doesn't want to help because the mayor has told them they can't help. And so has PB&J Pritzker, okay, the governor. But every time they're asked about it, they act like it doesn't exist. So I want to get into that aspect, okay? Is the Chicago PD showing up to help ICE when they're distressed, all right? Or when they're being attacked, or when they're, being ambushed, mobbed? Are they showing up? Let's get into what the governor and the mayor had to say. Here we go.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported on social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts are, and they won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
Absolutely not. You are the mayor. I mean, you are the governor. Absolutely not. You know what's going on. Okay. You have all the facts. Okay. You have all of everything, really. But you have all the facts. You know what's going on the ground. You and Mayor Mohawk just don't want to help. You don't want to help. But we'll get there. So here is Mayor Brandon Johnson getting asked that same question. Here we go.
Confirm the reports that Chicago police were ordered to stand down when ICE agents were surrounded and rammed by cars. And do you want Chicago police not to help ICE agents?
Our police officers respond to every single emergency in this city. The brave women and men who sign up to serve and protect this city are committed to keeping us safe. And what we have made very clear is through our welcoming city ordinance, when it comes to civil immigration enforcement, absent a warrant, our police department will not dub as federal ICE agents. In fact, we believe it's antithetical to driving violence down in the city of Chicago. When people call 911, we do not ask what their immigration status is, right? And so our police department will respond to every incident in which their services are needed to keep people safe, protecting the fundamental right to be able to protest, ensuring the maximum safety of our residents. That is the top priority of our administration.
Can you confirm, though, were Chicago police told to stand down?
What I can confirm is that our police department responds to every single 911 call. When 911 is called and there's an emergency, our police department shows up, as they've always done.
Absolutely not. And this is sad. This is absolutely sad. Okay. So he's saying that, oh, well, our police department doesn't double as ICE agents, but nobody asked that. Nobody asked that. We're asking if they show up when ICE agents need help? Do they show up? They're supposed to show up for people in general. So do they show up when ICE agents need help? Do they? Okay. Him nor PB&J wanted to answer that question. So here is a sheriff from the state of Illinois that decided to go ahead and talk about what happened. Okay, here we go.
I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help until this weekend. When a chief of patrol, where the Chicago Police Department instructed the police officers not to run in and help their colleagues who were calling for help, who were under attack by a bunch of people clearly violating the law. That's scary. Let me give you the antithesis of that. We had a single man resist ICE agents and get away from them in our community. We sent a helicopter, a drone, K9, and 50 law enforcement officers to surround an area, and we found that guy who violently resisted ICE, and we locked him up in jail where he should have been. If you allow anarchists and criminals to run wild in your community, people will die. People will be shot. Now let me say this. For other law enforcement leaders across this state and nation, you need to be standing up saying the same exact thing that I am. Because when you have a breakdown of the rule of law, when you allow anarchists, criminals to take over the streets and attack law enforcement officers and then not send them help, that's a slippery slope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with him 100%. That is a slippery slope because you've already heard Mayor Mohawk say, you know, they're not real ICE agents. Well, they're not real federal agents. How are they not real federal agents? How are they not real federal agents? Once you are deputized by the federal government, like you're a real federal agent. Like, I don't understand why they keep telling people this. This is why they're in their faces. This is why they think they can interrupt, you know, when they're trying to, you know, catch somebody. I've seen so many of those videos and I'm like, y'all are going to get yourselves shot. However, what I wanted to do with all of that, I wanted to bring this forth. So you have the governor saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You have Mayor Mohawk, Brandon Johnson saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Our cops respond to everything. And then you have the sheriff there saying, no, they are being told to stand down. Absolutely being told to stand down. So what can you do to prove who's right and who's wrong? You go to the radios, okay? You go to the transmissions. This is Chicago PD's transmission from that day. Here we go.
Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Spot. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
Okay, and you can hear me?
999.
999?
Yeah, 62 is helping with that traffic crash. That still needs to be done. She can stay put. And if she needs help, we absolutely help our own, all right? Boss, we're here at 37th Place in Kedzie for this traffic crash. There is a pretty big crowd here, so we're just kind of stuck here for now. Aaron, if you need resources, we'll send you whatever you need. I got Ty and my team here, so I think we're going to be okay for now. And who's doing the traffic crash? Is it us?
999, is that supposed to be assigned to a 9th District car?
Yeah, copy that. Assign a car and send them over. Get the information they need and get them the hell out of there. 62, we'll get all the information we can to get to the car, and then we'll stay here with them. Again, those are the orders we're being given.
All right, and 999, just to confirm, at 39th Place in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Place in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
Okay, 10-4. And again, for all the units that we called to go over that way, 39th Place in Kedzie, if you could just hold off 911, 913, 923, 924, 933, 934. Just disregard that. 39th Place in Kedzie.
That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. And anybody on that ICE team, if they got hurt, should sue. And I don't even care that they didn't get hurt. They should sue. They should absolutely sue. I would sue if Chicago had any money. But whatever money they got coming, sue. Because everything there just showed you, or you just heard them saying, no, stand down. No, we're not doing anything. No. And then when even another dispatcher was going to send someone, she confirmed with somebody, probably a supervisor, okay, of one of the police officers, and said, hey, are you being told to do this and that? He said, yeah, those are the orders I'm being given. She said, okay, we'll tell him to stand down, not come. That is absolutely ridiculous. Who does that? Matt vibes. No, you got to sue. You got to sue Mayor Mohawk. Okay, you got to sue him. You have to sue him. You have to sue him, and maybe you could sue him personally. Okay, because this is negligent. This is absolutely negligent that they told those officers to do that. Now I understand because I know police officers. I have police officers in my family. Okay, my loved ones are police officers. Like at the end of the day, this can get police officers in trouble. Okay, just like they did in DC when they told the officers, "Hey, don't give the real stats." And then when it comes down to it, they want to fire them for not getting the real stats when the top brass is telling them to do it. So the top here, the mayor, is telling the officers to do it. Like, it's absolutely insane. And then wonder why Donald Trump wants to send troops in. Because they're being barricaded in. Okay? They're being surrounded, ambushed, whatever you want to call it. And then you want to say, well, they're shooting people. I bet they are. I bet they are. I bet they are. It's absolutely insane. Okay? So if that wasn't enough, another reason might be because they're putting bounties, and I do mean bounties, out on people. Okay? A murder for hire. Somebody in the Latin Kings gang, high up, decided that they wanted to take out the Border Patrol chief in Chicago. Like, you can't make any of this stuff up. Watch. Here we go.
Judy, in the audacious plot, 37-year-old Juan Espinosa Martinez, a Latin Kings gang member, offered a bounty on U.S. Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino, $10,000 for the murder and $2,000 for information, according to the Northern District U.S. Attorney's Office. The I-team in federal court today as Juan Espinosa Martinez made his first appearance after he was arrested Tuesday in Burr Ridge by a cadre of federal law enforcement, including DEA, ATF, Homeland Security Investigations, FBI, and Border Patrol officers. The 37-year-old, who goes by the street name Monkey, is accused of offering a bounty of $10,000 to members of the Chicago Latin Kings street gang to kill Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino, according to the complaint. Bovino has been front and center in multiple Chicago immigration enforcement operations over the last several weeks of Operation Midway Blitz.
The street gang is a formidable organization. We know that. We know how much mayhem they can cause, but they're really no match for the power of the federal government if there's evidence against them.
Homeland Security Investigation Chicago says it received a screenshot of a Snapchat conversation seen here from a confidential source with a photo of Bovino and the bounties for murder and information, with the letters LK appearing to link the message to the Latin King street gang in the city. ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says for federal prosecutors to win this case, they have to prove the facts and intent of those messages.
The complaint alleges that he was a member, not only a member of the Latin Kings, but that he was directing this solicitation to other members of the Latin Kings.
After Customs and Border Protection officers opened fire on a woman over the weekend, Espinosa Martinez also instructed members of the Latin Kings gang to bring guns and deploy gang members in response, according to the filing.
You've got gang members that are doing drive-bys on the weekends for free. So offer $10,000 and you might actually get one of these knuckleheads that would take them up on it.
Retired CPD Lieutenant John Garrido spent more than 3 decades with the Chicago Police Department and says when it comes to the feds, Chicago's street gangs don't know what they're up against.
You're dealing with a different type of law enforcement now. The rules of engagement are different. The penalties are different. The laws, the federal laws, are a lot tougher than our local laws are. And you're actually going to do some time if you're convicted.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Okay. Monkey. His words, not mine. Monkey here. Okay. Decided that he was going to put a hit on somebody. Like, you can't make this up. Oh, there's no gangs. There's no gangs in Chicago. There's no Latino gangs in Chicago. There's nobody in the buildings. No. We don't know where you get that from. Yeah, this is where we get it from. This is where we get it from. Okay. They get to fly under the radar of being, whatever worker, landscaper, this, that. Oh, they're just trying to do a regular job. Okay. The people on the ground are telling you that Chicago is being overran by gangs and nobody's listening. Absolutely nobody, especially not the liberal media. You ask anything to the liberal media and they'll tell you, oh, yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. We absolutely don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You got influencers out here being paid by, these liberal organizations to say whatever. Oh, Black people are being zip tied. The kids are being zip tied. Okay. I did a whole video on that yesterday, and it's wild because they just take little snapshots of something and people run with it. These influencers run with it. They don't bother to do any type of research. Like, if there's misinformation on the internet, the information that's correct is on the internet. All you got to do is look. Okay. And for those of you who are lazy, ask Grok. However, it's there. But they know what they're doing. They're pushing a narrative. So I want to get into that last bit. Okay. I want to get into the people on the ground and what they are still saying about those raids and about these gangs, preferably these Venezuelan gangs like Trinidad Agua or even Latin Kings, okay? Because I didn't know anything about Latin Kings until I saw that story. I didn't know that they were, in Chicago. I thought that was just like maybe, a California thing. Shocked me. However, let's go ahead and get into a man on the ground talking about these raids and these gangs. Here we go.
Black people in Chicago, let's get this clear for the record so nobody is confused, right? In 2020 and 2021, when Democrats, specifically Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, flooded Chicago with the illegal, undocumented criminal invaders, y'all didn't have nothing to say about that, right? When the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, gave them benefits, millions, prepaid EBT cards with $10,000 on it, prepaid Visa cards, 6 months worth of free rent, free healthcare, free childcare. Y'all were okay with that. And then you all continue to be okay with it by going out and voting for Kamala Harris to continue what she was doing with the open borders, right? Now that ICE is there to actually do something about it, right? With Trump's mandate, now you all are boohoo, whining and crying, complaining that ICE is coming to Black neighborhoods. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Where else are they supposed to go when that's where y'all allowed them to go? You see, Democrats didn't put these illegals in Oak Brook or Oak Park or Evanston, in any of the white neighborhoods, yet you got the white liberals downtown protesting to keep those people there because they know that they're in Black neighborhoods. And y'all goofy. Y'all falling for this. Y'all voted for Kamala Harris, and now y'all are protesting ICE coming to Black neighborhoods to remove these criminal invaders. Y'all are calling ICE racist for coming to the Black neighborhoods.
They are.
Well, why are they coming to the Black neighborhoods? Because that's where you all allowed them to go. So tell me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave without telling me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave.
Tell it. Absolutely. I agree 100% because they couldn't be in your neighborhoods unless you allowed them. Okay. And I saw this one video of a lady saying, "Oh, when they first brought them here, it was the dead of winter and we felt so bad for them." That's how they always get you. They get you with that, "Oh, play on my emotions." And then they come in and take over your neighborhood, take over your resources, and now you're here. Okay? But the reason why I wanted to show that right before I pull this next thing up is because that's what most of the folks that are really on the ground and are not race baiters, and even if they don't like Donald Trump, there are a lot of people saying that they would like Donald Trump to come there because they are being ran out their neighborhoods, or if they're still in their neighborhoods, they don't know what else to do. You got the gangs, you got the illegals, you just got so much going on and nobody doing anything about it. Okay, people dying every day. So this is what's going on, right? And then I want to get into that building, right? This is an article I saw because I said it's got to be more than what they're telling, right? So I went ahead and looked into this. So city knew that building was unsafe. Okay, the South Shore Apartments, that's what we're talking about. And it was like that before the immigration raid. So people are talking about, oh, ICE bust out the windows, ICE threw all that trash and this. No, they were failing inspections left and right. But we're going to get into it. Okay. So it says there is growing evidence that city officials knew or should have known about the dangerous living conditions inside of a South Shore apartment building long before federal immigration agents raided that building. And I told you way before this happened, Chicago Flips Red, when they were on with me, they talked about it. Okay. They talked about all that. Of course, I don't know what South Shore is, so I allowed them to talk, but that's what they were talking about. All right. So these are some of the conditions. And on top of that, nobody was supposed to be in this building. But we can continue. So it says now the real estate that Chicago building inspectors visited the property of 7500 South Shore Drive just 2 weeks before the raid, underscoring that officials were aware that people, including children, were living in an unsafe building. Okay, and the building was plagued with illegal activity, which is what a lot of people on the ground were saying, that a lot of, people who do drugs were in that building. A lot of gang members were in that building. A lot of Venezuelans and people like that have just taken over the buildings. I mean, it was like the Carter. Exactly like the Carter, if you ask me, which is why you had them coming up with Black Hawks and all this other stuff when they wanted to raid that building. All right. It says they've had all types of shootings and criminal activity going on at that building. And it says Wells Fargo has been pressuring its owner to reassert control over the building. This is out of control. The city has received reports from tenants' rights groups and the alderman's office that the conditions continue to worsen at the property. So they've been talking about it. Look, all of the stairwells are filthy, smell like urine. The stairwells, the halls, there's no evacuation plan. Entry doors to the apartments are falling over. There's some apartments have no doors. They're busted and broken in. So when they go inside and say, oh, look what ICE did, this is what's already been there. This was what was already there. So they're absolutely lying. They're like, oh, Donald Trump and ICE did this to people's apartments. Nope, look, no fire extinguishers. The hallways, the ceilings are damaged, cracked, chipped, peeling paint. Kids probably eating the lead because you know that it's an old building. So they're probably eating lead, getting all types of neurological problems. Okay? Like that's what's going on. Look at all this stuff. And then it says on Saturday morning, CWB Chicago reported exclusively that while some media accounts suggested federal agents destroyed the building during the raid, social media videos from September showed the property was already in despair. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. All you got to do is go read. All you have to do is go read. That's all you got to do. But people allow social media people to tell them anything. They allow people to, and I say all the time at the end of my videos, but I could be wrong. So go look it up. Absolutely go look it up. because that's what I do. I don't know Chicago, so I go look it up. All you got to do is look it up. There were plenty of videos online. There were articles like this. Like, there's all this information online. You have a phone for a reason. All you got to do is look it up. And nobody bothered to do it. Everybody want to say, oh, he's after black people. He just wants to do this and that and the third. Mayor Mohawk will tell you this. He wants to put a black man in jail, yada, 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 yada. Meanwhile, you are allowing black people to be victimized. He cares so much about black people that he decided to put a bunch of Venezuelans that he never vetted into their communities. He cares so much about black people. He decided to go ahead and take all of their resources that they really even don't give to those communities. He decided to do that and give it to the migrants, okay? The illegals, the aliens. He decided so much about black people. He cares so much about black people that, he decided, well, let's shut down these schools that, could go to educating kids in those communities, and let's put migrants in them. Let's put these illegal aliens in them. Yeah. Let's put rapists in the community. Let's put people who are part of, Latin Kings and Trinidad. Let's put them all in the buildings. Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely ridiculous. But he likes black people. He loves black people. You can't make this stuff up. Like, you can't make it up. This is what Democrats do. Democrats have been liars. Okay? And I keep telling people, they always use black people to push. And you want DEI? DEI wasn't for black people. It was for white liberal women. But use black people for it. You want civil rights? Use black people for it. And then, you can give it to everybody else. And that's why I wanted to show that guy's video first, because he was absolutely right. You're allowing it. You are allowing it. You keep voting for it. So you allow it. Okay? You got Latino aldermen that go out there to the ICE facilities every day. You ain't never seen them in your life. Absolutely never seen them. But you see them now. You see them when Trump want to come. And that's what I mean. People are just in their feelings because they've been told whoever Trump was, is, whatever. They think Trump is racist, this and that and the third. Nothing is more racist than a person sitting in your face telling you something is peaches and cream, telling you something smells like flour when it really smells like you know what. Nothing is more racist than that. Nothing is more racist than telling you, yeah, we're going to put up shot spotter. We're going to fix your communities. Meanwhile, they move somebody else in and give them your resources, and you're still on the bottom. Nothing is more racist than that. Malcolm X never lied. Absolutely. Nothing is more racist than that. Okay. And Mayor Mohawk, he can be as dark and black all he wants to. He don't care about black people. He don't care about them. He don't care about the brown people either. He don't care about anybody. Most Democrats don't. They use the illegals. They use black people. They use everybody. They use white liberals. The crazy ones out here with the blue hair, they're using them too. Democrats don't care about anybody. No race, nothing. All they care about is being in power because they have done nothing for nobody. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Young, old, doesn't matter. And you guys keep voting for it. So that's why Chicago is where it is. Absolutely nuts. But as always, I could be wrong, you guys. So let me know down in the comments what you think about Chicago. Should martial law come to Chicago? Or is martial law coming to Chicago? I'm sorry, guys, if my internet's stuttering. I apologize. Okay. But let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about PB&J. Let me know what you think about Mayor Brandon Johnson, a.k.a. Mohawk. Let me know what you think about the article that shows that the conditions of those raids were already messed up. Okay? Before, the condition of the buildings, I'm sorry, were already messed up before the raids. Let me know what you think about that. And let me know what you think about everybody saying that ICE is racist when it's really the people in charge. And let me know what you think about putting out a hit on people that are just trying to do their job. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me go ahead and get into these last super chats here. Thank you guys so much for super chatting. I appreciate it. Let's get into this chat right here from John Alexander. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I don't know anyone still. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how anyone still takes them seriously. Every word out of their mouths are lies, always lies, have truth, or just plain wrong, which is a lie. Right? It's all a lie. A lie is a lie is a lie. They omit stuff. They don't tell it. They just do the most. And people keep believing it. But thank you so much. I appreciate your super chat, John. Thank you. And then we have Empire Foundation with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. In the summer of 2020, wow. In the summer of 2020, the local media refused to cover the ATKs. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm assuming it's a gang. The ATKs by blacks on by Hispanics on blacks. One of the reasons why we good on them. Let me know what the ATKs is. I don't know what that is. Is that a gang? Like what is that? I'll look into that. But I'm sure. I'm sure. That's what they do there. That's what they do. They always do stuff like that. That's wild. You guys, thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. What is it? What's it called? Is that? Oh, you're saying attacks. Okay. YouTube won't allow you to type it. Okay. I got you. Well, thank you so much. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for pulling up. Chicago is just going to be Chicago. It's going to stay like it is. It's going to be like it is until the people stand up. All of them. Okay. And I'm grateful that there are people out there turning it red. You know, Chicago flips red. Patrice Stewart, Congresswoman. Like I'm just grateful that there are people trying to stand up, and there needs to be more, because Chicago could probably be a really nice city, and it probably really is a nice city. You just got poor leadership, and it's because you put them there. So you have to get them out. All right. But those are my thoughts, and thank you for pouring it up with me. Matthew, thank you so much. Donald, thank you so much. I appreciate you loud and clear. Artifacts, Quick Fix, Zero. Thank you so much for pulling up. Let's see, The Genius, thank you so much for pulling up. Empire, thank you. Tyrone, Molly, Rio. Who else we got in here? Mandy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Just a brown girl, thank you so much. Dion, thank you so much for pulling up. Queen B, thank you. I appreciate you. Who else we got in the building? Artifacts. I think I said that, but if I didn't, thank you. Thank you, Brock, for pulling up. I appreciate you. Matthew, thank you so much. Magnificent Gaming. John Alexander. Who else we got in the building? Let's see. Bernie's book tour. I think that's what that says. Thank you so much. The Genuine CEO. Thank you. Matt Vibes. Thank you. Eric Wealth Harris, thank you so much. Shadow Dragon, thank you. I appreciate you. Who else we got in the building? Trying to get most of you guys. Who else we got? I don't know why this goes back to the bottom every time when I try to scroll up. I think I said just a brown girl. Yep, I saw it. And it keeps going back down to the bottom. Well, and Brian, thank you so much. Sydney, thank you. We'll Google it, I think is the name. Y'all on these wild names. Thank you so much. Clay, thank you. George Everett, thank you. Jasmine 457, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Who else we got in the building? Oh, Gary S. What's going on, Gary? Great show, Micca. Thank you. Great show, Micca. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, Super Tim. Mandy, I see you. Who else? TC, I see you. Mr. Big Angry. Y'all names be wild. Look, thank y'all so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. It's your girl, Micca. every Monday and Wednesday. Okay. We're here. We're just going to talk and pour it up every day. If you guys have something you want me to actually zero in on, you can always email me. That's on my my main page on YouTube. And you can also send me stuff on TikTok and Instagram as well. Okay. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. I'm always open to other things, other topics. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. Okay. But let me know. Thank you guys for pulling up. As always, I appreciate you. It's your girl, Micca, and I'm out. Peace.